There, it's Keegan. Welcome to your special subscriber only 2022 forecast reading. I'm doing a reading here on the Sacred Ascension Tarot channel as well as on my main channel, the Keegan Kirk channel, for 2022. If you're just first finding this video, I'm going to be covering love and then taking a look at your career and money in two sections here on this channel in this video. On the Keegan Kirk channel, there's also a subscriber only video that takes a look at spirit messages coming through. Specifically, the question that I asked to be communicated is what's going to be your biggest spiritual leap during 2022? What's going to be the place where you level up or you have the most spiritual evolution during the year? So if you haven't seen that video and you're just finding this one, then please go over to the Keegan Kirk channel. I'll put all the links in the description box below so you can also see the spirit message portion of the 2022 forecast. And if you've come here from the 2022 forecast over on my main channel, please take a moment to subscribe here and join up if you are someone who loves my tarot readings. Tarot readings moving forward after this round of readings will all be here on the Sacred Ascension Tarot channel. The Keegan Kirk channel is going to be focused on the spirituality videos, and I'm breaking those two things up mostly because of the algorithm and trying to maximize my ability to have YouTube show the videos to the right people. So as I mentioned, we're going to start here with taking a look at love first, and then once we've done that section, we'll move into work and career. I have pre-shuffled this deck, but I do like to just on camera do a couple of cuts, mix the cards up. Once I start talking to you guys and I'm connected to your energy, turn some of the cards around as I feel that they want to. And then what I'm going to do is similar to what I did in the spirit message reading. I'm just going to fan these cards out and feel my way through and pick about 2 or 3 cards to get started. And then we will ask questions to go a little bit more in depth as we need to until I feel like we've covered what we need to do. I do just want to say this is a general reading, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest for whoever that's meant for. General readings are never going to be 100% accurate. They might feel that way for some people, but it's a very small group of people. If you want to actually take a look at things much more in depth, specific to you, you can always reach out to me for a personal reading. The information is here on this screen. KeeganKirk.com is where you can book those. Okay, so let me feel my way through here. I just want to pick 2 or 3 cards to get started. This one is definitely one of them. Over here. This one. I'm going to do one more just to get us started here, taking a look at love for the subscribers here on the channel. There we go. I'm going to move this deck just right off to the side so you guys can see that still being there. And then I'm going to switch you over to an overhead shot just so you can see the cards a little bit more closely. I'm going to turn all 3 of these cards over and take a look and see what's come out here for love. Now again, we're taking a look at 2022 as a year. So first card out here, we have Judgment coming out reversed. Next card in the middle, we have the Daughter of Cups. It's a Page of Cups in this deck. It's also reversed. And then the last card we have here is the Four of Cups. I'm going to start here with this Judgment card because I can tell that's where the most energy is coming through. Now, what's really interesting about this in terms of taking a look at what's going to happen with love coming through for 2022, this Judgment card, I'll talk to you about the card in terms of what it means first. When Judgment is reversed, it represents a place where we're dealing with some sort of doubt. We might have had some sort of place where, we've made a bad judgment. There's an error in how we were judging a situation. It can also represent being in a place where we feel like we're being judged or we're judging ourselves. What's coming through for me, one thing that's coming through, and the reason I want to start with this card immediately is that when Judgment is in reversal in a reading, it can represent being in a place where we have some sort of a fear around a change. And that's more of a subtle aspect of this card, but I feel this very intensely. When I turned the card over, I was kind of hit with energy of there being fear. And I don't want that to scare you off in terms of thinking about the next year, because I feel like this is really it's more about like what you're going to unpack and what you're going to figure out during the year is what I'm sensing. So if this reading is going to resonate with you, what I'll say is the things that I said earlier in terms of feeling doubt, feeling judged, judging yourself, feeling like you've made some sort of error in judgment, that's stuff that you've been dealing with. That isn't something that's going to be coming in. I think most of the people who are going to resonate with this, when they heard me say that, they're like, oh, yeah, that's what I've been going through, or that's where I'm at now. I feel like the energy on this is pretty present, but there is a lot of fear that's behind it. Now, let's talk about the Page of Cups here. Um, this Page of Cups to me, I'm just going to say this, okay? And one of the things I've liked about doing these readings just for the subscribers is I know that if you take a moment to subscribe to the channel, then you liked what I said. You liked my reading style. You felt like I was someone who was tapping into your energy. And so I feel like I can be a little bit more direct with you about things. This Page of Cups being reversed, I do feel like this is representative of some of the energy of the people who are going to be listening to me, not about the person that you were involved with or the people that you might have dealt with during 2021. This to me feels like the lessons that you're going to learn about yourself. Okay, so the Page of Cups, when it's reversed, it represents um, a kind of an immature approach towards love. Is the best way for me to explain it. Um, I always, in a love reading, if the Page of Cups comes out, regardless of its placement, whether it's upright or reversed, it always represents to me kind of an unevolved sort of love. When it's reversed, one of the things that always comes through is things like codependency, right? It's where it's when you find yourself in a situation where you're desperate for love, or where you have overly romanticized the notion of love, or you have this idea of love that's kind of immature. And when I say immature, I don't necessarily mean that as like an insulting thing, right? This could be a situation, and I'm going to explain this a little bit, especially because we have this Four of Cups sitting next to this, and I'll just talk about this really quickly. The Four of Cups really is about being in a place where we're feeling a little bit unfulfilled, where we're feeling disconnected from things. We've kind of pulled our energy inward, and we might be in a place where, like, we feel bored with the situation as it is, and we're just not connected with ourself even. Okay, so I just want to tell you the meaning of that card because I'm talking about these two sort of in combo here. So when I say an immature love and I say don't take that as something that's insulting, there are a couple of reasons for that. Some of you might be relatively young. I've noticed that my subscriber details that I can see as the channel owner, my audience is starting to skew younger and younger. And so some of you might be very young and you might not have had that, the opportunity to really have experience a really long-term lasting relationship. You might have had very short, brief relationships. Some of you might have gotten married very young, and you might be, my age or older. But because you've only been in that one relationship, you still might have what I would refer to as an immature outlook on love because you find yourself in a situation where maybe you are re entering into the dating world or you are trying to figure out what to do because you've had a very long term relationship that's come to a close. And so I don't mean that word in any sort of negative way, but it's the only word that I can really think of to explain to you the energy that's coming through here. There's an immaturity in terms of understanding yourself, of understanding what it is that you want, right? And that's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to confront or try to come to terms with during the new year. It could be, like I said, that you are finally at a place where you're ready to try to have a serious long-term relationship, or you might find yourself suddenly in the dating scene and completely unsure of what it is that you need to do and feeling very much intimidated by it. But the energy here, it's not bad energy because I feel like this work is something that you want to do. It's something that you want to figure out. It's work that you're willing to dive into. Okay. So I want to pull a couple more cards, and I think I just want to clarify some of this. I'm just going to move these up a little bit. And if you can't hear these cards being shuffled, I apologize. I use a special program on my microphone so that it cuts out background noise. Where I film is actually quite loud, and there's sometimes you can hear voices coming through. And so this software program isolates only on my voice, but sometimes it can really deaden the sound of the cards being shuffled. So I'm going to do two blind cuts here, and I'm going to pull cards just to kind of bridge the energy between these cards and give me a little bit more insight. So with this judgment card here, I want to see what else comes out specific to this. And we have the Queen of Cups. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Where I say that you're in a place when it comes to love where you are figuring out more about what it is that you truly want. And you're moving yourself from this place of not trusting yourself, of feeling, doubts and insecurities and judging yourself or feeling like you've been judged about things related to love and relationship, and moving into a place where you are confident in what it is that you want. The Queen of Cups represents everything about love that is typically associated, I'm going to use air quotes here because I hate this, but like, with feminine aspects of love. So things about being really supportive, being nurturing, empathy, having relationship that really feels like it is fulfilling to you, and being really committed and into it. This is a leveling up here from doubting yourself to knowing what it is that you truly have to offer, what it is that you will accept in a partner, and knowing what your boundaries are and where those things exist. This could also represent being in a place where they're wanting me to kind of emphasize this. What they're showing me is, maybe someone who has never really thought they wanted to have a serious relationship, never thought that they wanted to get married, never thought that they wanted to have a family or kids, and being at a turning point here at the end of the year, moving to the next year, where you realize that those things are actually important to you. Okay. Now remember, I was talking about bridging the gap between these two things, right? So we have the Page of Cups, which I said is that immature sort of love, and it's reversed, moving into, right, the Queen of Cups, which is really, in terms of the cups, the king and the queen, those are the highest expression within that suit of a mature type of love, a mature type of relationship, really being in a place where you're not only admitting to yourself that it's something that you want, but you're doing what you need to do to ensure that it's a healthy connection. Okay, so let's see what this other card is that we have here. We have the Ace of Wands, which is reversed. And again, I'm looking at kind of bridging the energy between the two cards that are above. What's interesting about this placement is that, the Ace of Wands reversed represents being in a place where we had some sort of a situation that we felt was going to go somewhere and ultimately didn't. Okay. Now that could be two things, and I'm going to pull a card to clarify this because I can sense I might have two groups of people that I'm going to talk to here. On one hand, this could represent a place where the timing was just wrong. Okay, so it could represent being in a place where things got started, but it was kind of like a false start, or things started, felt really intense, and then fizzled out. Okay, and there's a little bit of a question there for me energetically about whether or not, for that group of people who feel like, well, what happened there? It felt like it was going well, and then it just stopped. Why? That's one group of you. The other group, the Ace of Wands reversed, represents a true missed opportunity. Okay, meaning that we didn't actually get engaged with it. We didn't actually go down the road at all. It presented itself, and we decided not to do it. Now, for some of you, you may or may not have regrets about that. Okay, so I just want to pull a card to give a little bit more insight for both groups about this, because I can sense that just energetically, I can kind of feel like a tug of war going on with me about, well, what does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to take this deck. I'm going to do a cut here and pull a clarifying card specific to that one card and see what we get. So yeah, I kind of talked about this. Two of Cups reversed. Regardless of what group you were in, okay, this was not the one. Okay, so even if it started and fizzled out, it felt really intense. It felt like something that you wanted to happen and it didn't, or something was presented and you made the choice, I'm not even going to go there. That was the best choice. Whatever happened there, it's not what you're supposed to be in, right? You're moving into this. What it feels like to me in terms of, and I love, the reason I said I love that this card came out is because this felt to me, or this reading feels to me like one of those last tests that the universe might give to us before we're presented with an opportunity to really like have what it is we've been saying that we want. And I want to talk to you about that a little bit, okay? You're moving, like I said, this feels like old energy to me, this Judgment card. So you're moving out of this place where you were making the wrong choices, picking the wrong people, not really fully being honest with yourself or with other people about what it was that you were looking for, but not being satisfied, right? Not being satisfied with this immature sort of love, not being in a place where, when you would accept that, when you would, I'm gonna try to summarize what I'm picking up energetically here. This feels to me like someone who ultimately in their heart, in their soul, knew that they wanted to have a deep connection. They wanted to have something that was real. They wanted to have something that was meaningful, but something existed here that made them scared to actually admit that. So what happened as a result is they were constantly settling for less than what they wanted. And I think for a while they were able to exist. They were able to exist within that and just sort of go from person to person, relationship to relationship, maybe staying single for long periods of time in between, and almost trying to like convince themselves that that was enough. But recently there was something that happened. So I would say if you're still listening to me, if you've still connected to this, what that I'm talking about, and it's been resonating with you and you're still here, recently you either had a relationship that you tried or you had someone that showed up, and that person on paper checked a lot of boxes. That person on paper, even if you, whether you engaged with them in this or not, right? It felt different. It felt like it had more substance. It felt like it had more potential. And that woke something up inside of you. It woke up this that's always been there. It didn't create it, but it made you stop suppressing it. This desire that, hey, you know what? Maybe it is possible to have the right person. And maybe it is possible to have a happy relationship. Maybe it's okay if I admit that I want that. And this feels like to me the universe presented you with someone who was almost but not quite the person you could have this with. And you said, you know what? No. No. It's close, but it's not this. And I'm not settling anymore. I'm not going to settle. So I want to say here, for some of you, you're still going to be on this journey throughout most of the year because you're just in this spot where you're starting to come to terms with uh, maybe I do want more. Some of you might not have even met this person yet, and if this part of this reading hasn't quite if you're like, well, I don't know who that is, I don't know what that is, I don't know who was presented, or I haven't been with someone recently, then this is what's still approaching you. Again, this is a general reading, and so I'm reading for a large group of people, and so you're all going to be in different parts of this timeline in terms of the story that I'm getting from the cards. So this person, you might not meet them until March or April of 2022, and that's when you have that realization. You might even just remember this reading and think, oh, you know what? This must be who this person is. And yeah, it's like they're almost right, but they're not quite right. They're not quite right for me. And so I'm going to say no to this because ultimately I'm the Queen of Cups and this is what I want. I want to be able to express myself this way in a relationship, not as a Page of Cups. Or I'm not going to settle for a Page of Cups. I'm waiting for the Queen of Cups. Take this however it resonates with you. Others of you, you might just be ending this energy, right? Or you might still currently be in this energy with this person. You might be in a situation where um, this person is still around, right? You might still be kind of like in the relationship and feeling a little bit unsettled or unsatisfied with what it is, or this person might have popped up and made an offer, and you're kind of sitting with it thinking, I don't know, is this person the person I want to invest time in during the next year? But it's not. Like, it's not the right person. So depending on where you're at in this story, then that's going to dictate kind of like how things play out during the course of the year. But the theme for you in 2022 when it comes to love is really about allowing yourself to admit inwardly what it is that you want and allowing yourself to deal with whatever fears you might have around commitment, to deal with whatever fears you might have around opening yourself up and trusting, around any fears that you might have around rejection, really taking the time to deal with those things so that ultimately, as the Queen of Cups, you get this Two of Cups to flip, right? And you have two people coming in from a healthy direction, two people coming in who have done the work that they need to do to heal, and they're offering each other something real, right? And in that situation, right now, I don't think you've quite gotten to the point where you're really sitting fully in this Queen of Cups. So this is what you're being offered currently. But once you settle into this, then these cards start to, you're getting into the Ace of Cups upright. You're getting into the Lover's card. You're getting the Ten of Cups, which is upright. You're getting into, the Ten of Coins. Those cards that represent relationships that are healthy and happy and thriving and that can last through obstacles and challenges and that go for a longer duration. Okay. So I actually really like this reading for you because this just means that you're in a place where you're starting to get more honest about what it is that you want, and opening yourself up to being willing to express that to the universe and saying, I want you to bring me someone that I can love. I want you to bring me someone that loves me, and I'm ready now to actually be in a relationship that has um like some risk to it, right? Because when we're just sort of dating people casually and we're not letting anyone get close and we're not letting our heart get involved and we're not getting attached, that's a safe place to be. But when we actually say, I want to have something that lasts, then we always have to deal with the fears that we have around that. We have to deal with the fears that we might have around, well, what if I get my heart broken? What if I, fall for this person, ultimately they go away? Right? Well, that's always a chance. That's always something that might happen. That's the risk with love. But you're getting to a point where you're really willing to take that risk on. Okay. What I want to do here to wrap this section up is I want to pull an oracle card just to see, the best advice coming through for you for love. I'm actually going to do two. Show me the number two. So we'll grab two. So the first one here says, the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. And again, right? Having faith that the universe will present you with the right partner, having faith that the universe is going to listen to what it is that you want once you know what it is that you want. There is this energy that I've been picking up on about, I started at the very beginning saying I felt a lot of fear with this judgment card. And here, the oracle card is about becoming more fearless. And when we do become more fearless in life, it does start to make us feel more free. We start to realize that, hey, you know what? If I meet someone and I invest 6 months in that person and I really go for it and I try and ultimately it doesn't work out, then there's still things that I've learned about myself and what I want in a relationship and what I am not willing to deal with in a relationship. And that puts me even one step closer towards the relationship that ultimately will be the one that clicks. Second card coming out for you says, when I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. And again, a similar energy here in terms of that feeling about fear. What I want to say about this is that, again, I've talked about this in the reading, but I want to reemphasize it. So many of you, when it comes to love and relationships and opening yourself up and trusting people, so many of you, there's been so much fear that it hasn't felt like when you allow someone to get close or when you allow yourself to really open up and like talk to someone on a deeper level, that hasn't felt comfortable. It feels very uncomfortable. But when you can align with the universe and know that the universe loves you, the universe wants what's best for you, the universe wants to bring you an ideal partner, the universe wants to bring you someone who's going to make you really happy, the universe wants to, allow you to, offer all the love and all the great things that you have inside of you. When you align to that and you learn to trust the universe, then it becomes much more easy to open yourself up, because when you have that relationship with the universe, you know that the people who are coming in, your intuition is either going to warn you that that person is not the right person, or you're going to feel like this is someone that you need to explore. This is someone that you need to put some time and effort into. And that allows you to be at peace with things. And it's a peace that can't be disrupted, because that bond between you and the universe, even if a relationship happens and it fizzles out, you still have the universe. You still have that connection with your higher self. You still have that connection with you. And so when you can settle into that and know, you know what, I do have a connection and I do have a relationship that's always going to be there for me, regardless of what happens while I'm out there dating or trying things out, then it allows you to be at peace and allows you to feel comfortable opening yourself up a little bit more. So I'm going to clear these cards away and move them to the side. And we're going to take a look at love and money next. I have a deck here. This deck was pre-shuffled, but I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling here on screen. Again, apologies if the microphone doesn't pick up the sound of that. I'm going to do a couple of cuts. Turn that. Those. Shuffle them up one more time. Feels good. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make 3 cuts. So there's one. I'm going to make 3 stacks, rather. 2 cuts, 3 stacks. Okay, so we have the stacks here. What I thought I would do for the work and money part is I'm just going to turn these over so we can see the cards that are on the bottom of the deck here. So we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Six of Wands, which is upright. And then we have the Hierophant, which is reversed. I'm going to start with these three cards as our main cards. Give this deck a shuffle so I can use it to clarify as we go. All right. I actually want to start here in the middle with the Six of Wands because I feel like this is a good place to start this reading. Okay. So with the Six of Wands, what's great about this is that this represents being in a place where you're having a big success. And it's a success that feels like it's come after a lot of effort. And it's something that is very, like it's publicly known. It's not a small victory. It's a big deal. Okay. So I love that this card is coming out specific to work and money because I feel like a lot of you have really been trying to figure things out. I mean, obviously the world has been weird for the couple of years. A lot of people have been making big decisions when it comes to careers. A lot of people have left jobs. A lot of people have shifted careers. A lot of people have really been in careers where they've, really ended up burnt out and they're not quite sure they can stick with it. So regardless of what your specific situation is, 2022 is holding a huge success for you. And so whether that is you trying to find your dream job, whether that is you trying to launch a new business or a career, something big is approaching. So that's why I wanted to start with this card because this is a really big deal. And like I said, it's not a private sort of thing. It's not like you managed to save as much money as you hope to save during the year. This is something that your friends and your family are going to know about this. This is it's a big, big celebration around this. Now, before that, okay, here before this, we have the Knight of Pentacles and it's reversed. So, obviously with Pentacle cards, this represents things around work and money, career. So the Knight of Pentacles is really about a couple of things I want to talk about here. So one thing is that I'm picking up on is there has been a lot of instability, and for some of you, that's actually manifested itself as actually being unemployed. The Knight of Pentacles reversed represents things like unemployment, not being able to find a job, not being able to or having lost a job that you might have really enjoyed or that was important to you. The other thing that I want to say here is that in 2022 there's a shift for you that gets you to this point. And again, I sort of did this when I was talking about the immaturity thing with the love reading. Try not to get triggered by this because I'm just trying to deliver messages to you, but I can sense sometimes with certain things that I'm going to say that they might be hard to hear for people because until we're ready to accept something, hearing something come through in terms of a message that's designed to help us, it might feel like an attack. And I just like to preface, I'm not attacking here, okay? But the Knight of Coins, when it's reversed, is always a card that represents someone who's been a little bit lazy, right? The Knight of Coins upright is all about perseverance and putting in the hard work and being reliable. And so when the Knight of Pentacles is reversed, it kind of represents the opposite of that in a way. And I don't necessarily feel that this is a situation where you've deliberately just been like, well, you know what, I'm just going to be lazy and not do anything, right? I think for some of you, it's been in a situation where spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you haven't been able to put in the amount of effort that is necessary to get you to this point, right? And that's totally understandable given what we've been through in the world. It makes total sense. Um, you know, there was a meme that went around on social media for, on all the sites, a variation of it that was basically like, if all you did today was get up and do basic self-care, then good job. Good job. Because we've been in really truly unprecedented times, especially around work and career. And so when I say like there hasn't been a lot of effort made, again, don't take that as an attack. It's just saying you've had to clear this. You've had to figure out how to motivate yourself, how to get yourself into a place where you have that energy, whether it's spiritual energy or mental energy, emotional energy, you have the bandwidth to really be able to put in the effort that's required. But this is something that you're clearing now. This feels like something that's coming to a close. As you're wrapping up 2021 and you're thinking about 2022, I'm sensing that there is ambition because you want this. Like you want to get to this point. You want 2022 to be your year, and you're figuring out what it is that you need to do to get yourself there. Now you're not fully over it because like I'm saying, like this feels present energy. And so just know that as you move into the new year, if you have, some days that are great and some days that aren't, focus on the days that were. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hold yourself against, a standard that you're not able to maintain. This process here is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint. So this is something you're going to be working on throughout the year. Even if you get this, right? I want to talk about this a little bit because of the card that I haven't talked about, this Hierophant sitting here. I want to just sort of bridge into this. Let's say that in the first part of the year, January, February, have this breakthrough and you have this big success, right? This doesn't just magically go away. If anything, it becomes more intense because now there's a lot riding on this, right? So let's say you get an investor and your business takes off, or you've had something that you've been trying to promote and suddenly you start getting tons of orders for your own business, or you've been putting out lots of applications, you've been doing interviews and not hearing back, and then suddenly you land your dream job. This stuff, the more that you can do on this stuff now before this happens, the better. So for some of you, this might be your whole process during 2022, even to like mid-year. It's just getting yourself to the point where you feel like you have your feet under you again. You feel like when you wake up in the morning, you have energy. You're doing what you can to, deal with any sort of depression that might be existing. You're doing what you can to deal with any mental blocks, any spiritual blocks. You're really trying to boost yourself up and get yourself to the point where you're able to put in hard, consistent, reliable work, right? This card will eventually flip, and when it does, then this takes off even more, right? This is a theme for the year. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so like I said earlier, the example that I gave, let's say that you've been trying to start your own business and you realized, okay, well, this is going to cost a lot of upstart money. I don't have that money. What am I going to do? Maybe you find a business partner. That's a big success. And then the two of you are combining your efforts, you're getting things done. You might be, launching a website, launching new products, and then you have another big success where maybe you get your first, big order, or you get your first big contract, or you have a ton of orders that come in from something that you did. Big success, hard work, right? The theme for 2022 for you is about hard work and effort finally leading to success. Hard work and effort finally leading to things that you can look at and say that was worth it. That's the shift, right? That's the shift that's happening from 2021 into 2022, is that your efforts lead to results. Whereas in the past, what I sense is happening is that you would put in all this effort, you would put in all this time and drain yourself and not see the results, and that would lead to you feeling disappointed and losing that motivation. So let's talk about this, then we'll pull some other cards to take a look here. But I like the story of these three cards on their own because we have the Hierophant here and it's reversed. And the Hierophant reversed is one of my favorite cards in all of tarot because it represents being in a place where we finally look at everything that we've been told we need to do, all the stuff that we've been told we should and shouldn't do, how we need to do things, and we just basically throw all that away. And we rebel against the habits that we've had. And we say, you know what? There has to be a better way. There has to be a new way. There has to be something that I can try that I haven't tried before. It's about going against anything that has been traditional for us, anything that's been habitual for us, and really allowing ourselves to think and be different. What's great about this is that when you go through this journey, and like I said, this is going to vary depending on where you're at in this, right? But you've been in this place where you've drained yourself and not gotten the results, and then you start having wins, right? So you put in effort. This card, imagine, right? At some point 22, this card flips, and you suddenly have this feeling that you have the energy to really persevere through whatever happens. You have the ability to work hard, and it's reliable. That energy is reliable for you. It's not there yet, but imagine it is. So you put in the work, you have a win. You put in the work, you have a win. You put in the work, you have a win. What happens is that because of that, when it comes to work and career, you become fundamentally different than you have been. You are a completely different person when it comes to work and money. Your life is different. What has been, what you've known, what has been kind of reliable for you, what's been your consistency, right? Whatever lifestyle has been like normal for you, it's totally different by the end of 2022. for everyone that's listening. It's totally different. And you're happy with it, right? Because you feel like you're finally able to express yourself, be yourself, doing the thing that you love, and it's working. And that's a great place to be. It's an amazing place to be. So I don't really feel like I need to do anything to clarify the story of these cards, but what I will do is just pull, two more, see what we get, see what else wants to come out specific to work and money. All right, let's see what we have. Look at this, the Empress, great card. Coming out with the Three of Swords, which is reversed. Um, let's talk about this Three of Swords first, because I don't think that this is necessarily a bad card. Okay. Um, what I sense here in terms of this specific card is that there will be a need for you to deal with some healing, right? Around things that have happened to you that really, what I'm going to say here is that they kind of dinged your ego a little bit, right? Uh, the Three of Swords, regardless of its placement, whether it's upright or reverse, it always represents being in a place where we're dealing with a lot of pain. We're dealing with a lot of disappointment. But when the Three of Swords reverses, it means that we're actually starting to heal from it, right? It's still there. It's still something that we are aware of, but we're really starting to heal. And I think it's about this, okay? It's about that energy that I was talking about of sincerely trying to put in as much effort as you possibly could and not being able to get the results. But what's important for you to realize is that the energy that you had, even if you were giving it 100%, the amount of energy that you had was so depleted that 100% of what you had to offer really wasn't enough to be able to make huge success happen. And that's okay. And this represents being in a place where you stop beating yourself up about that. It doesn't mean that your idea isn't a good one. It doesn't mean that your business can't be a success. It doesn't mean that the right job doesn't exist for you. It just means that there are things that you need to do internally to heal, things that you need to do internally to get yourself in a place where 100% of your energy that you have to put into this is like 5 times the amount of energy that you had access to in the past couple of years. And I think for a lot of you, that's going to come through from being in a place of spiritual power. Now, what I want to say with this Empress that came out here, I'll talk to you a little bit about what the Empress means traditionally in tarot. Okay, so the Empress is usually created with things like creation, pregnancy, fertility, right? Being in a role of a parent. Okay, and I sense a little bit of that. I'm looking at business and money, right? So it's not the literal interpretation of that, but it is about birthing something into this world. And so I think for a lot of you, you have been trying to launch your own business. You have been trying to figure out how you can create something. And so what happens here is that you realize that this has purpose beyond you. This has purpose beyond your own satisfaction around making this happen. What you're trying to bring into the world will benefit other people. You might become someone who employs a staff, and so you're actually creating jobs for other people. You might be in a place where you're trying to start something that will actually help people, right? So when you make that connection, when you actually connect to that and you say, okay, you know what? This isn't just about me. This isn't just about me. There's a purpose for this being in the world. There's a purpose for this being here. And I'm the person who's going to bring it in. Then what happens is you get this huge input from the universe. And there's energy that's coming from the universe that isn't energy that existed for you before because you weren't connected on that same level. Now, what I want to say about the Empress here is that, you know, one of the things about tarot that is slightly, outdated in a way is this notion of gender. And so in tarot, we have the Empress, which is all about kind of like, being pregnant and being a good parent. And then the Emperor, which is about being a boss and a leader and really being strategic and respected. And I don't necessarily like that. Right? I don't like that as a reader. So what I'll say here is this Empress card for me as a reader, it's also expressing that notion of fully stepping in and owning your authority and being in a way like the boss of things. And not only are you like coming in and taking control and being the leader, but you're also creating it. You're also the person who is, in a way, like birthing this into the world. So not only are you the CEO, but you're the person who is, you know, really doing the work and allowing things to sort of be channeled through you in terms of how this needs to be and how this needs to exist. And that's awesome energy. So things are really going to turn around for you in 2022. And whatever it is that you've been trying to make happen, whatever you've been trying to manifest, just know that you are going to get there. It just requires you being in a place where you allow yourself to tap into the greater purpose of this, where you allow yourself to tap into uh, why the universe wants to see this happen, why the universe wants to see you succeed in this, why the universe wants you to be the person who is making this come into this world. And as soon as you connect to that, as soon as you have that realization of why that is, then you connect to that energy coming through from the universe that's trying to help push you along, right? So you're no longer dealing with this place of feeling like you don't have enough energy. You're no longer dealing with this place of feeling like no matter how much effort you put in, it's not enough, because you have more than enough energy coming in from the universe. So that even if you are having a down day, even if you are dealing with personal things, even if you are dealing with like, emotional problems or, mental health problems, you can lean on the universe. You can step into that power from the universe and say, you know what, I know that this is bigger than me. So there's energy that's going to come through. And that energy might show up in other people who are wanting to help, other people who are wanting to invest, other people who are wanting to get behind it, people who just want to support you, new mentors that show up in your life. But those things can't come through for you just yet until you allow yourself to change and you allow yourself to stop beating yourself up about not being able to make it happen on your own. This isn't something that was meant to happen on your own. This is something that's meant to happen with the universe being behind you and with other people being involved in it. So let's see what the Oracle card is coming through for you. This is when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love, right? And what I would say here is that this is really about you realizing that that desire and that passion that exists within you, you need to allow that to really be the driving force for everything. When you wake up in the morning, you need to focus inward on what it is that's making you want to get up, what it is that's making you want to get out and put in the effort, because that's really connecting to this Empress energy, right? So, great reading, I feel here. Again, if you have not seen the spirit message portion of this, head over to my main channel. I'll put a link in the description box below for that so that you can go check that out. That reading was also really great. So for my subscribers, at least, I haven't started filming the sign specific readings for this yet. But for the subscribers here, I'm happy to see that you guys are well on the spiritual path. Regardless, all three areas of your life seem really good. Again, not easy, right? There's lots of work that needs to happen. There's lots of things that you need to focus on. There's lots of healing that you need to do. And I hope to be part of that journey as you're going through the next year. But ultimately, I feel like by the time you get to the end of 2022, you're going to look back and say, wow, things are so different. And I'm so different. And really feel like you have ascended upward to a different expression of yourself. You're on this journey of getting closer and closer and closer to that highest expression of who you are. And I'm happy for you. So congratulations. I do just want to say here at the end as well, thank you so much. I wanted to do something special for the subscribers because when you take a minute to subscribe to the channel, I know that that means that you want to see what I'm doing. You want to see me grow. You want to support the channel in a way that this, the normal person who just watches a video and doesn't take that time to do it uh, might be invested in it. And so thank you for that. I do hope that you have an amazing year coming up. And I'm rooting for you. Just know that. Whatever this is, whatever the situation is, I'm part of that group that wants to see you succeed. So I'm sending you lots of supportive energy in that.